Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wild Card Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and this week we are checking out a pretty wild Pauper deck. I'm calling this one Zombie Burn. Comes to us from Graphy, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a Pauper League on Magic Online, so congrats to Graphy on a super cool deck. A quick reminder before we break down Zombie Burn for Pauper. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Tribal in Pauper is pretty weird because with commons being the only cards legal in the format, you don't really get lords. Lords are always uncommons or rares. There's very, very few, or maybe zero, common lords that I can think of, which means you gotta take advantage of other tribal synergies if you're gonna try to build a tribal deck, and that is why this deck is zombies mixed with some burn synergies, because burning is actually some of the best zombie tribal synergies. So we start off looking like kind of a zombie aggro deck. We got Carnophage, a 2/2 for 1, so kind of the Goblin Guide. Of course, you gotta pay life to keep it untapped, so it's a little painful, but still gives you an aggressive 1-drop to start off with. Festering Mummy, not as aggressive, but a good way to kill Delver of Secrets. We have Carrion Feeder, a growing 1-drop that can sack stuff, so if our opponent plays a Delver or a Fairy Miscreant, other small creatures like that, we can just sack the Festering Mummy to our Carrion Feeder, grow the Carrion Feeder, put the -1/-1 counter on the Delver, kill it. So this is our 1-drop package. Then we move up the curve to our 2-drops. Sultai Emissary, a little bit strange, but it's resilient, works well with our sacrifice synergies because when it dies, we get to manifest. Only a 1/1 for 2 though, so not super big. On the other hand, Gurmag Angler is super big, but it's also pretty expensive. We do get a few cards in the graveyard. We have some removal spells that we cast in the early game. We have some cycling lands. We have our sacrifice stuff, but we're not normally going to be playing Gurmag Angler for like 1 mana on turn 2 or anything crazy like you see in Modern, but we will get it down for maybe 4 mana, 3 mana, which still makes it a pretty good deal for a 5/5, and it is a zombie as well, so it works with our tribal synergies. So this is kind of our zombie stuff, and this deck, to make the zombie burn plan work, we need a lot of zombies on the battlefield. So first off, as far as the zombie burn, we have Grey Merchant of Asphodel, which is pretty sweet. It's a zombie, it drains our opponent equal to the number of black mana symbols we have. It has 2 itself, so that's a guaranteed 2, but if we have some zombie 1-drops, some zombie 2-drops, it might be hitting our opponent for 4 damage, 5 damage, and then of course we can always sacrifice it to our sack outlets if we need to. But that's kind of the backup burn plan. Like, we're very happy to drain our opponent with Grey Merchant, but we also have Shepherd of Rot, which is a little risky because it damages each player, so each player loses a life for each zombie in play just by tapping the 2-drop, but it works well with Grey Merchant. Like, the draining of Grey Merchant gains us life, which frees us up to drain with Shepherd of Rot. Sure, we're losing life, but since we're gaining that life back with Grey Merchant, it's not as painful. So it's just another way we can drain for 3, 4, 5 damage a turn. In the early game, we get in damage with our 1-drops, with our aggressive creatures, then we kind of finish off with direct damage. However, the sweetest of our zombie burn plans is Gem Palm Polluter. So Gem Palm Polluter probably doesn't look like much. It's a 4/3 for 6, but we never really plan on casting it. Well, I mean, maybe in a pinch if everything goes wrong, but the real deal here is we're looking to cycle it for 2 black mana, and when we cycle it, we can have target player lose a life for each zombie in play. So if we have 3, 4, 5 zombies in play, Gem Palm Polluter is 2 damage, target player loses 3, 4, 5, however many zombies we have life directly to the face, which allows us, with Shepherd of Rot, with Grey Merchant, with our aggressive 1-drops, to close out the game with a lot of direct damage. Then we have Ghoul Razor and Ghoul Caller's Chant to keep getting back our Gem Palm Polluter. We can sacrifice our Grey Merchant if we want to our sack outlets, get it back that way, and just keep burning and draining until our opponent is finally dead from direct damage to the face. So a really cool take on zombies. Get in the early damage with our aggressive creatures, and then close things out by just making our opponent lose tons of life that's really hard to deal with. The cycling of Gem Palm Polluter doesn't get countered. You can't daze that. You can't counter that with a counter spell. So it's a really guaranteed way to force through that damage and close out the game. Otherwise, we had a bunch of removal spells. Nameless Inversion, technically a zombie, but I don't know if that's super relevant to our plan. I guess it's nice because we can potentially get it back from our graveyard, but it's mostly just a removal spell. Guess Verdict for sacrifice against Boggles and decks like that. Tragic Slip, good at killing anything in the late game with our sack outlets, but takes down a Delver on turn 1, and then Sign in Blood just keeps us cycling through our deck, finding our zombies. Mana base, couple of Baron Moors for cycling, Swamps to cast our stuff. In the sideboard, we got a few more zombies. Crypt Creeper gives us a zombie that deals with graveyard stuff. We can exile a dredge creature or something. Kumbaj Witches to shoot down smaller creatures. Festering Mummy, again for smaller creatures, so lots of answers to things like Delver, Postboard, and tokens. Duress and Wrenchbind for controlling matchups, get the counter spells out of our opponent's hand, tax their resources. Cartouche and Sylvok Lifestaff are kind of our main aggro plans. Gain a bunch of life back while we're sacking our creatures, or with Cartouche we can kill a Delver and give one of our big zombies lifelink. A lifelinky Gurmag Angler, pretty scary and hard for aggro decks to deal with. Finally, Choking Sands can come in against control decks, but primarily like Tron hate. Blow up their lands, make sure they can't go crazy with the big mana. And that is Zombie Burn for Pauper, and that's our instant deck for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.